All right, let's talk about something you probably don't think about too much. The humble banana. You see it every day, right? But what if I told you that behind that simple yellow peel, there's a huge global story unfolding, a story about our food system, a hidden weakness, and a desperate race against time?
I want to start with a number, a truly massive number that's kind of hard to wrap your head around. 100 billion. This isn't just a random statistic. It's the key to understanding just how big a deal this fruit really is for the whole planet.
Yep, that's how many bananas we all eat, every single year. It makes it, by a long shot, the world's most popular fruit. It's a staple everywhere. But for a huge number of people, it's so much more than just a snack. And if that first number was all about popularity, this next one, 400 million, well, this one is about pure necessity. This is where the story gets really serious.
You see, that's how many people rely on bananas as a fundamental part of their diet. For them, it's a critical source of food security. This isn't just the world's favorite fruit. It's the fourth most important food crop we have, right up there with wheat, rice, and corn. So the thing to really get here is, this isn't about losing a convenient snack. This is about a potential global food crisis.
So with all that in mind, what if the banana as we know it was on the verge of just disappearing? It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, doesn't it? But it's a very real threat, and believe it or not, it's happening right now.
To understand why this is happening, we need to pull back the curtain on how we get our bananas. The system that stocks our grocery stores is incredibly good at what it does, but it's built on a single, and I mean catastrophic, flaw. Think about this for a second. Almost every single banana you've ever eaten in your entire life is, genetically speaking, the exact same plant. It's a Cavendish, and every Cavendish is a clone of every other one. We call this a monoculture. And while it's fantastic for producing tons of identical, predictable fruit, it makes the entire supply chain dangerously fragile. And here's the crazy part. We have seen this exact movie before. Back in the 50s, the most popular banana wasn't the Cavendish. It was a variety called the Gros Michel. People said it was creamier and tasted better, but a fungus called Panama disease race 1 came along and completely wiped it out. So we switched to the Cavendish because it was resistant to that specific strain. Well, now there's a sequel, a new strain, TR4, and our Cavendish has absolutely no defense against it.
So it's not just one thing. We're looking at a perfect storm. The big immediate threat is absolutely the disease, TR4. But that threat is being supercharged by climate change, stressing out the plants, and by huge economic pressures that make it harder and harder for farmers to actually fight back.
And look, this is not some far-off prediction. The impact is already here, and it is hitting hard. The number you need to know is -22%.
That's the staggering drop in banana production in a major country like Costa Rica just this year. We're talking about 18 million fewer boxes of bananas. It's a massive decline, and it's putting an incredible squeeze on farmers who just can't absorb these kinds of losses anymore.
Okay, so let's properly introduce the main villain in this whole story. This fungus that has the entire global banana industry absolutely terrified.
Panama disease, TR4, is just relentless. It's a fungus that lives in the soil, and once it's in a field, that field is basically contaminated forever. It can just sit there dormant for decades. You can't kill it with fungicides, and it can spread on something as small as a single speck of dirt on a worker's boot.
So how does it actually kill the plant? Well, it's brutally efficient. It gets in through the roots, travels up the stem, and just clogs up the entire vascular system. You know, the veins that carry all the water and nutrients. It's like it triggers a total shutdown from within.
And honestly, there's no simpler, more devastating way to put it. The plant is cut off from everything it needs to survive. It literally starves to death from the inside out. It's a silent killer until the very end.
But this story is not over, not by a long shot. Faced with this enormous threat, a whole global coalition of scientists, companies, and governments is fighting back. They're in a race to save the banana. And this isn't a scattered effort either. We're talking about a massive, coordinated response from the Global Alliance Against Fusarium TR4. They've got backing from huge players like the World Bank, and they're hitting this problem from every angle, teaching farmers better biosecurity to try and contain the spread, and, most importantly, pouring money into the genetic research we need to find a permanent fix.
So what does that permanent fix actually look like? Well, the real long-term answer isn't just about playing defense for the Cavendish. It's about offense.
It's about creating a whole new generation of bananas that can actually win this fight.
So, let's look at the top contenders. You've got two main approaches here. On one side, you have hybrids, like the FHIA 17. It's a crossbreed that brings back some of the old Gros Michel's genetics, making it naturally more disease-tolerant. Then you have the super high-tech approach, using gene-editing tools like CRISPR to go into the Cavendish's DNA and basically switch off the genes that make it vulnerable to TR4. They can even make it not turn brown when you cut it.
And all of this leads us to the final and maybe the most important question. Look, creating a new, super-resistant banana might solve this crisis, but we'd still be relying on another single cloned crop. So are we just kicking the can down the road? Is the ultimate answer really just a better banana? Or does this crisis force us to finally confront our reliance on these monocultures and build a stronger, more diverse, and a much more secure food system for everyone? That right there is the billion banana question.